wait no longer, greatness has arrived. Welcome to the Trophy Room, a PlayStation podcast made by the players for the players. I'm your host, Joseph, aka Mr. Badman, and it is here where me and my best friend Kyle talk about the latest, the greatest in all things PlayStation. Of course, you can listen to the show wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube at the Trophy Room. Of course, if you like this show, please consider rating us 5 stars over on Apple Podcasts, or if you really like us, you could toss a buck our way over at patreon.com/PS Trophy Room. So with all that said, with all that out of the way, the greatest co-host who ever is, who ever will be, Mr. Kyle Stevenson, how are you, sir?
I would like to pronounce that our new favorite fruit is orange here at the Trophy Room. Fuck
Why
Apple.
is it orange?
Fuck Apple's show.
Oh!
I was hoping you would have gotten it. I could have probably done a better lead up to it, but you know what?
Yes.
We're here.
We're here.
All about that
listen,
vitamin C.
It's all about that vitamin C. What type of vitamins does Apple's give you? Keeps the doctor away.
Yeah, you know what else they keep away? Our podcast
that?
from the feed.
That is true. So, FYI, everyone, Apple just did a various amount of changes to the podcast app, the Apple Podcast app. Right now, over just midnight last night, they just took our website down, or our podcast down, rather. Us and a lot of other podcasts as well suddenly just disappeared. So we actually have no idea whether this podcast is going to be on Apple Podcasts this week.
We were doing too well.
Yeah,
we were killing
doing
the
too
game
well.
too much. You know what I mean?
Tim Apple wanted to just, humble us a little bit. He's like, these kids need to be humbled immediately. Yeah. So hopefully by next week, everything is a-okay. But in the meantime, head on over to Spotify, head on over to Amazon. I think Music has us. Anywhere has us except for Apple at this
The YouTube
time.
channel will have the video version. You can always watch us or listen to us over there.
Absolutely. So there's options. I spent, over an hour with tech support today, just trying to figure it out. We may have a save tonight, but who knows? It's been, I'm going to be real with you. It's been a really soul crushing past 24 hours for me. So again, we love y'all. Thank you all so much. The community really, held us up today, held me up because I absolutely needed it. So thank you all so much for your understanding. And again, hopefully in a week, this is all just a bad dream. But Kyle, we have so much to talk about today. The 3 main topics that I want to talk about is Sony accidentally teases the PlayStation Plus Video Pass. We're going to talk about the reversal on Sony's behalf, bringing back the PS3 and PlayStation Vita stores. The Vita lives. And last but not least, we're going to talk about Horizon Zero Dawn becoming the next game of the Play at Home initiative. That said, Kyle, it's time for a Patreon pitch. I'd like to thank our patrons over at patreon.com/PS Trophy Room. Like we say each and every week, and this week, definitely one of them. If we ever got you through a long car ride, tough day at work, home situation, whatever the case may be, it really does help us out if you toss us a buck our way over at patreon.com/PS Trophy Room. I want to thank our platinum producers, Todd Burwitz and Too Soon. I want to thank our gold members, Chaotic Monkey, Gavin Gottfried, Griffin West, Jose Jimenez, Jedi Master Ren, Metal Kirby, our Silver Plus members, Hyde Indoors, Marcus O'Neill, oh, it's just Ray, JB the Purple Monkey, Jadis Von Metal, Tim Ulf, and Justin Rodriguez. Everybody, thank you all so much for your support. And Kyle, let me tell you something. I don't know why, but this is the first time we've said Jedi Master Ren's name on this show countless of times, right? But in that voice as well. For some reason, this is the one week it broke me. I found it hilarious. That said, again, everybody, thank you all so much for your patronage. It really does mean the world to us. I'm hoping by Friday we have the Resident Evil Road to Greatness episode. So if you are a patron of the $5 and up tier, we're going to have a in-depth review discussion of Resident Evil 4. It's been a journey. I got so much thoughts in my brain.
Did you finally
about
finish
this
it?
game. I'm on the cusp.
God damn it,
I'm on the
Joe.
cusp. By tomorrow. Okay, I'll fight off Tim Apple. I'll have this whole thing fixed. I was really, Kyle, I was really going, okay, I'm going to beat Resident Evil 4 today. And then, again, Tim Apple came in. He's like, no. I'm going to give you iTunes homework to do. So I'm going to finish it tomorrow. iTunes problem or no iTunes problem. Trust me, Kyle.
Okay.
You just got to believe, okay? And then we're going to have this episode, and trust me, I got thoughts, and we all thinking it. We all got the person we have a qualm with, an issue with. That's Ashley. I got thoughts about Ashley. All negative. That said, Kyle, it's time. And check out that episode. It's going to be great. Again, this Friday. Road to Greatness. RE4. It's time to square up the news.
From IGN, Joe Scrubbles writes, Sony accidentally teases PlayStation Plus Video Pass. Sony has seemingly accidentally released information about an unannounced PlayStation Plus Video Pass, which could add movie and TV content to the existing PS Plus subscription service. Spotted by VGC, the PlayStation Poland website added, and then quickly removed, a banner that showed off the apparent service, accompanied by text that, when translated, reads, quote, a new benefit available for a limited time on PlayStation Plus. PS Plus Video Pass is a trial service active from April 22nd, 2021 to April 22nd, 2022. Sorry.
They did it in German, in European dates.
Yeah.
Really just throwing us all off.
The subscription benefit is available to PS Plus users in Poland, end quote. The banner seen above includes images of Venom, a Zombieland Double Tap, and Bloodshot, all of which are movies made by Sony Pictures. It's possible that Sony plans to use its own movie portfolio to add value to its PS Plus subscription benefits.
What a strange service.
Why do we need this?
Kyle, why do we need this? This seems like what a bizarre move, because just, a month ago, we were talking about how PlayStation was getting rid of their movies and TV from the store. We were like, good idea. Who bought a movie from the PlayStation store?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, I remember I bought one, that's Star Wars, because of the theme, and they never gave me the theme. I still got issues with you, Sony. But, like, we're like, yeah, this is a no-brainer. Get this off and focus on games. Sure. And now we have this for a limited time video service?
It seems odd, especially because the PlayStation 5 in particular has so many streaming services attached to it already. You look at the PlayStation Remote that you can use for the media remote. It has dedicated buttons to YouTube, Netflix, Disney Plus, and Spotify. So it's dedicated to these streaming services already. So why give us movies and stuff as part of this when they're most likely already on other services?
Yeah, it's really bizarre.
Unless Sony is going to pull everything from all the streaming services and just use this.
Not at all. Actually, I think recent deals. Bad. Yeah, recent deals.
Spider-Man's coming to Disney Plus.
Right.
Yeah.
So, like, today we have like a partnership between Sony Pictures and Disney. It looks like some type of strategic partnership that's going to be driving a whole lot of profit over towards Sony's end. At the same exact time, they made a deal with Netflix as well for something similar. Sony's been kind of positioning them and kind of navigating themselves through this new landscape for them, because look, I'm going to be honest with you guys, their tech isn't killing it. Their production company is one of the most profitable things that studio has, and gaming. And so they don't have, the ability of a Microsoft to say, hey, this is our Game Pass service, nor do they have the tech behind themselves or the financials behind themselves to say, hey, we are going to make our own Netflix service. So they have to make these deals, and seeing this video pass just kind of seems a bit redundant and kind of it does nothing for me. And again, this is right now a rumor. It will be official, it seems like, by the time this episode goes live. But like, what can this be? Because I think the best case scenario for us is, hey, as well as some games we get each and every month, which they've been really great so far. Here's a Spider-Man, or here's, here's a Breaking Bad, as well to kind of
complete
tack
opposite ends of the spectrum right there.
Absolutely. But like, here's some extra entertainment every month. I think it's a cool idea if Netflix didn't exist, but
yeah, for sure.
I have no idea what this service is, and I have no idea where anywhere in this would appeal to me, because I have Netflix, I have Disney Plus, I have, a lot of the Sony productions like are also on Apple TV, like For All Mankind is a Sony production on Apple Plus. So like, to me, is it like they're taking from different productions or different shows from different services to tack on here, and it's only for a limited time for a year? It just doesn't make much sense, Kyle.
And like, if you're watching the video version behind me, you can see 1/2 of all the Blu-rays I own, and I do probably own already anything that they could possibly put on the service as far as Sony is concerned. I don't see it. I think there could be a cool use for it, for like a full like themed month. So like, imagine like Spider-Man 2 comes out, and you get, along with Spider-Man, you get some goodies through PS Plus. Maybe like Miles Morales is free whenever that comes out. And then in addition, you have Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, Spider-Man Far From Home, and whatever also on the video pass to kind of coincide with it. But
again,
even then, it's not really needed. Also, I hate the acronym of the PS Plus video pass. PSPVP. It's too long.
Yeah.
Too many P's.
I think you're totally right, and I'm trying to find a way where this makes sense, and it just doesn't. And it does give me the fear, Kyle. Maybe it gives others the fear, because we've seen Sony have this bunch of mixed messaging here. Look, we're talking about some confusing news right now. Hopefully it'll come out and it's something that we can get behind. But again, we have all these entertainment services. I don't need an extra one. I come to, I come to PlayStation for the games. I don't come here to watch a movie or a TV show. I tune in to Netflix. I tune into Hulu. I turn in, anything else. There's so many at this point. Like we were complaining about it earlier. There's so many streaming services out there that it's just too many to keep track of. And I don't see how this incentivizes me as a PlayStation gamer.
Yeah.
To stick with it, like to stick with their media side. I already use my PlayStation as my media destination for the most part, but like, again, it's not for this video pass. Kyle, are we dealing with a out of touch Sony again? Like, let's just keep it to it straight. Is this something that is promoting synergy within the brand, or is this really just Sony saying, hey, this is our Game Pass? This is what we're trying to do.
I definitely don't think that it's Sony saying this is our Game Pass. Absolutely not.
No. Okay.
I do think there is some Sony exec that's not part of the games division that's like, hey, we should have this synergy between our entertainment side of things and games, because frankly, the PlayStation side of things is crushing it. So let's get a little bit of that rub for our entertainment services and kind of combine them in like under one roof. So I definitely think it was an outside exec's decision. It's not like, again, it's not for us, but I'm sure there's some people who maybe can't afford that monthly subscription, and if the details are out and it seems like a heavy or a lot of things being offered, for those people, it might be worth it. It might be a cool little benefit to a price that you're already paying and already getting its value with the games every month, pretty much. So it's not a bad thing per se, but it's just something that I think us and a lot of people just will never use, just like the other video section.
So you think this is just them going, hey, this is more value. This is just us tacking on a service that is already great, and us thinking we're going to add even more value to it rather than... I could see that.
That also, like, what if this isn't in America? This could be a Europe-only thing. Because I don't know how the streaming services work in other countries. I know they're, from talking with our friends like Fiona and Sean Capri about how like their Disney Plus offerings are not the same as ours, or
they don't even have HBO.
Yeah, they don't have HBO Max, so like there is that kind of like weird kind of cross section. So it could be just for international players out there for like.
I mean, as much as I want to be a negative Nancy, if I'm getting shows that are crossed from like a Hulu to a Netflix to an Apple Plus and bringing them into one place that I can kind of chill out and watch them, I don't think that's the most terrible thing. No. But again, as a PlayStation fan, I just don't see the inherent value of it because I am going to my Apple TV for the most part for those things. Like for me, I'm sitting here, I'm playing my games on my PlayStation. Sure, I'll use the media app. Again, this is my hub. So that like I'll chill out and I'll watch like a Brooklyn Nine-Nine on Hulu, but usually I'm walking downstairs, asking my brother, hey, what do you want to watch? And we're usually using an Apple TV to go and surf those things. So to me, though I don't think this adds any value, I don't think we're talking to a Sony that doesn't get it. I saw a lot of that. I saw a lot of people tossing around with this news of like, oh, remember Xbox TVs and movies? I think this is just another Powers situation.
Sure.
Remember the show Powers?
Never watched it, but I know it was heavily featured in the PSN store.
Exactly. That was the PlayStation, I think it was like TV exclusive show that like just never took off.
PS View, right? That was
PS View. I believe
Or did that predate View?
I think it predated View. And again, this is weird because we've seen PlayStation try these things. Great example that I totally forgot because there's been so many PlayStation View with live sports and all these shows. And who needs cable when you got PlayStation View? And that not work out. So maybe this is View Lite where it's just adding a little bit of value to a service. But at the same exact time, I don't think this is like all hands on deck because Sony doesn't get it. I think this is very much, an exec came down and it was just like, synergy?
Yeah.
Synergy.
Yeah.
And that's what Sony's really trying. I mean, if you take a look at what we've seen out of Sony, with the games as movies that we're seeing or games as entertainment with The Last of Us, Twisted Metal, I think, is supposed to have a show, the Uncharted movie, we could see that synergy kind of take place. Maybe this is them trying to do the same here, but I just don't see it. I just don't see it connecting.
I hope in whatever those meetings are where the execs like synergy. There's also just another guy sitting in the corner, right? Or lady or non-binary friend sitting in the corner, just waiting patiently for their time with a old Walkman in their hands. Like, is it my time? Can we bring it back? When do I hop in? When's the synergy happening with the Walkman?
Yeah. Dude, what if we had a PlayStation Walkman?
I think they saw the zoo and it was like, you know what? We're good.
But I'm talking about like, listen, Vita they say means life. I know it means death.
Just PlayStation soundtracks on the thing?
It's just a PlayStation portable, but it has two brands we know and love, man. Look at me, maybe I'm that exec, Synergy, Kyle. Synergy. Enough about this rumored video pass. That worries me because I feel like the next story is going to give a lot of us a lot of hope that we're going to see Sony be a lot more reactive to the audience. So take it away, Kyle.
Rebecca Smith over at PS Lifestyle writes, PS3 and Vita PlayStation stores will not close after all. PSP store will still cease operations. At the end of March, Sony announced the PlayStation 3, PS Vita, and PSP stores would close in the summer, causing widespread outcry. Sony appears to have listened to the concerns of customers and developers and has now announced that PS3 and Vita stores will no longer close. The PSP store will still close as planned on July 2nd, however. The full statement reads, recently we notified players that PlayStation Store for PS3 and PS Vita devices were... Let me back that up. Okay. Recently we notified players that PlayStation Store for PS3 and PS Vita devices was planned to end this summer. Upon further reflection, however, it's clear that we made the wrong decision here. So today I'm happy to say that we will be keeping the PlayStation Store operational for PS3 and PS Vita devices. PSP commerce functionality will retire on July 2nd, 2021 as planned. When we initially came to the decision to end purchasing support for PS3 and PS Vita, it was born out of a number of factors, including commerce support challenges for older devices and the ability for us to focus more of our resources on newer devices where a majority of our gamers are playing on. We see now that many of you are incredibly passionate about being able to continue purchasing classic games on PS3 and PS Vita for the foreseeable future. So I'm glad we were able to find a solution to continue operations. I'm glad that we can keep this piece of our history alive for gamers to enjoy, while we continue to create cutting-edge new game worlds for PS4, PS5, and the next generation of VR. Thank you for sharing your feedback with us. We're always listening and appreciate the support from our PlayStation community.
Jedi Master Ren writes in with this. And you can write in and you can send us your thoughts, your questions over to PS Trophy Room on Twitter, or send us your thoughts and opinions and questions over at the Trophy Room Discord server, link in the description. Jedi Master Ren writes, victory, victory, victory is ours. Our uproar has overturned the corporate tyranny and reversed the legacy PS3 and Vita stores from closing. The force is strong with these gamers on the internet, but the big question is, how long have we bought these storefronts? 6 months? A year? Look, we know Sony wants them closed. Yes, they've reversed the decision, but it makes one Jedi Master think they've shown us the inevitable future. Regardless. Kyle, this is a great question because, yeah, look, I did not think this was happening.
No.
Right? Like, I thought closed, okay, this hurts, but go out there, find a PS3 fast before they're like $800 on eBay. That said, they listened. That's huge.
It is pretty huge.
So, do you think, Jedi Master Ren seems pretty optimistic, but he knows the end is still nigh. Do you think the end is nigh for these stores? Do you think it's close? How much time do you think we actually bought these storefronts?
So I think the Lost episode a couple weeks ago that you can only watch on Twitch, I think this is when we talked about it there. And I mentioned how, like, it didn't bother me that these stores were closing.
Right.
It didn't bother me too much because I thought that would force them to kind of make it backwards compatible forward PS5 and beyond, like be able to play these things on the newer things that we already have. I'm happy that they're not closing now because of like game preservation history. I love that. That's why I buy physical media anyway. But I don't think, even in the statement, right, they said something like the ability for us to focus more of our resources on newer devices where a majority of our gamers are playing on. So even in that statement, they're kind of like poking at you like, okay, you got it, but we were taking it away so we can work on these cool new things and make it easier for future stuff. So I do think it's still numbered. I do think it's probably maybe 2 years, 3 years maybe. I would have rather them saying, you know what, instead of closing them in 6 months, we're going to give you a set date in a year or two from now. So that way you have the time to buy what you want to buy, because I saw a lot of people just mass buying, panic buying all these things, and now you have time to budget out and truly get the things you definitely want. Because, spoiler alert, not everything on those stores are worth buying and playing.
Yeah. Like, I think you hit it out of the park, Kyle. I absolutely think the days are still numbered, and I actually would have rather them say, hey, listen, we got you. We're not closing them tomorrow. We're not closing them in July or August. I kind of like how Nintendo kind of laid it out with the 3DS. I think
and the Wii.
And the Wii was just like, hey, we're going to phase these things out over time, and then they're going to be gone forever. Now, again, as a gamer, as someone who, champions game, preservation. Thank you. I I do love this move that they're saying, hey, listen, we're not closing it down. Don't color me as like all old games are old and toss them aside. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying that. I am very surprised that they've gone out and said, you know what? You're right. So much so that we're keeping these things here. And I love what you said as well. Like, yeah, we're continuing to create cutting edge new game worlds with the PS4, PS5 next generation of VR. It does kind of hint that there are bigger things over the horizon. And I think that's what it is. I think Jedi Master Ren, enough time is bought for whatever service is going to come out to say, hey, here's your PS3, here's your PS2, here's your PS1, here's your PS Vita, even backwards compatible game service. I think that's how much time we've really bought these things. But it also goes to show how much negative PR there was because, yeah, like I really saw this move of them going, okay, it's over, it's done. It's only people that are like, you know, really whining. It's Twitter that's complaining. Yeah. They're not real. So let's just continue on. But I really think it is something you said. They saw people start buying these games again. I think they really did see the negative blowback when you see an Xbox be so great and transparent and forward thinking with their backwards compatibility. Yeah, it is a really bad look to start closing stores. It is also funny to note, PSP store.
Still gone. Yeah.
Still gone. So I don't think there was much love there, but yeah, I think PlayStation has a responsibility to preserve these games because it is art. Whether that art is a Picasso painting or not, it belongs to be preserved. And not a lot of this code or, you know, some game code just gets lost. I think, what is it? Final Fantasy VIII, I think, is one that's like just, or thought to be completely lost through the ages. Like,
not 8. I don't think 8.
Not 8. Maybe 9.
But I've heard game codes that have either been lost in a hard drive somewhere and they can't. Like, the only way to get it is what's ever on the servers to buy anyway, pretty much.
Yeah, their daughter got hold of the Hewlett-Packard Bell, and she accidentally deleted all the files.
Before we get into the next couple of questions, does this ease your mind at all to the outcry that was, oh, arrogant Sony's back? Not worrying about the gamers, God, I hate saying the gamers. The PlayStation ecosystem. Does that ease any fear of arrogant Sony just doing whatever they want and not really thinking too far ahead about it?
Yes and no, because when I see PlayStation, Video Pass, that does scare me a little bit. Mm-hmm. But when I do see these things of like, I think what it gives me hope is knowing that we're not fighting or we're not talking to an arrogant Sony. I think we're talking to a different Sony that we don't know as gamers who we're talking to yet because nobody's talking out of there. But we are seeing a more reactive Sony. A Sony that knows, oh shit, okay, pendulum swinging, we gotta do something fast. That's why I don't think, that video service is the answer, that counterpunch to Game Pass. No. And I do think this here is them saying, listen guys, we get it, we're listening to you, we made a mistake, we made an oopsie, and you would have not seen that out of arrogant Sony. Arrogant Sony would have been like, get a second job and buy that retro piece of tech,
Yeah. I do feel bad for everyone that went out and bought the games physically for outrageous sky prices. Like, there was this compilation on PS3 physically of the best of the PlayStation Network. It had like Fat Princess on it. Mm-hmm. I believe it had Pixel Junk Game and a couple others that I can't remember. But that thing skyrocketed up into the couple hundreds of dollars after this news. And there were a couple people that went out there and picked it up for that price. And they got to feel really not great about that right now.
I mean, I'm going to be honest. I was thinking about buying a Vita again. Just to play some PS1 classics.
I bought a new charge cable for this beautiful blue boy here because I thought, all right, let me go get all the PS classics. I have a few months. Let me look through the store or whatever. And now
you got a lot of time.
Now I got some time to really think about it, not mass buy games that I'm just going to own and not really play anytime soon.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. So great question, Kyle. I really do think I think we kind of got a little bit ahead of ourselves, but we're still on some, not I guess steady ground. We're on a fair footing, I guess.
Yeah, we got through the first overpass fine.
Yes.
There's still a lot more mountain to climb.
Absolutely. Awesome Dave Leet writes in, with the several PS3/Vita stores being the PS3 and Vita stores being closed, do you guys think this will lead developers opting not to create for the Vita due to the latest dilemma? I know some developers had canceled some games/ports already. Do you think they may be a small resurgence in development for Vita due to the public outcry about the platform? I know I have been using my Vita a bit more over the past couple of years. I am waiting on a 16 gigabyte card to come in the mail since I bought a bunch of 8 and 4 gigs already. Damn, Awesome Dave. Damn. Kyle, what do you think here? Do you think that devs are going to come back to Vita?
I don't know if there will be any rush to come back to Vita, but I do think those games that were canceled because of this, they are going to be brought back and finished up and get done. I think this week or next week, Scourgebringer is coming to Vita.
Yeah.
And I think that I'm not sure if because there was a physical collector's edition of that game for Vita that I wanted to get, but it's gone from the internet. I'm wondering if they took it down because of this news. So I'm hoping it goes back up soon. I do hope that people still make Vita games for it, because if we don't get that, then we won't get those kind of cool things. Like, I don't know if you know, but somebody made a homebrew Halo game on an Atari cart.
No way.
Like an Atari version of Halo. I remember seeing that years ago. Or old Genesis games that work on a Genesis cart that work in your Genesis. Like brand new things. I like those kinds of cool new ideas. So I'm hoping that people don't forget about the Vita and make it, because it is a perfect system for a small indie title to really just make and have fun with.
I think the craziest thing was one of the, an ex-Vita dev was just like, Sony knows you're stealing the games. One of the things that led to the demise of the Vita were the people that were pirating the games. They saw that break in the Vita OS. They saw another possibility of the PlayStation 3 blackout happening, and they just killed that thing fast. So it is, on one hand, I do like that they're keeping the Vita alive for now. I don't know if devs are going to rush back to the Vita.
Yeah.
I think the ones that are reliant on that platform definitely are, and the ones that aren't are going to kind of throw it aside and focus their devs on the projects that are going to probably make them more money. But it does go to show that there were still support for Vita, even up until this day, because it's such a beautiful piece of tech. And there's such it's kind of like the PSVR group. We're a small bunch, but damn, we'll buy every single game that comes out, I feel like. So yeah, I think this also buys time for those devs that are strapped for cash, that literally just bought a dev kit, to continue to make games for the system. But I think after those games are done, if I'm that dev, I'm like, okay, do we want to do this? Do we want to do this again and maybe have our hopes or our dreams, dashed right in front of us?
Sure.
I don't know.
Yeah.
That's a great question, Dave. And it goes back to how much time have we bought from this hoorah about backwards compatibility and about the PS3 and Vita stores? How much time? And I think if you're a dev, if I was, I'd be like, this is my last game on the Vita. It's been real, but here you go. And yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Now, the most famous Seamus I've ever met in my entire life writes in, with the PS3 and the Vita stores safe for now, do you think you'll buy a bit more stuff from the store just in case Sony decides to close them? Are you going to be buying some more stuff?
I'll be buying some Vita stuff. Because
Yeah.
I did the thing that I think a lot of people did, was to search on Google like the best Vita games to get before the store closes down, and there were a couple on that list. Not that I can't name any off the top of my head right at this moment that I did not own or have not played that I need to get to just have, just in case there's a lull and I want to pick it up and play.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm thinking about buying a PS3 again. Ray Martinez in the Discord, he was just like, "Hey, I got a PS3. It's yellow lighted. I'll sell it to you for like $25." I'm thinking about taking him up on that offer. But my local retro store hasn't got back to me saying if they could fix the yellow light death yet. So like, I am actually thinking about purchasing the PS3 because, Kyle, I think the audience says PS3 is a big blind spot in my PlayStation lineage. And I feel like I owe it to the audience, to you, Kyle, to go back and actually give Resistance a fair shot. Like I'm giving right now Infamous a fair shot. And Infamous 2, my goodness.
Huge step up.
Huge step up for the first 10 minutes. My God. I really appreciate the PlayStation 3 because there's something that there's a lot of charm because it's right where towards the end of the PS3's generation, you kind of saw Sony understand what's going to make these games be the killer hits and be the killer apps that they're going to be on PS4. And I really do think it's PS4 generation's technology that really pushes those games forward because I do see greatness in games like Infamous 1 and Infamous 2.
Absolutely.
I do see greatness, from the early Uncharted. So it has a lot of charm. Now that the failure's gone, now that the bad taste in the go get a second job's out of your mouth, it's a charming little box. So I really do want to go back and give some classics of the good Kyle a try. Cause you know me, Kyle, old game, mechanics are old. Mm-hmm. PS3, my goodness. Remember when they were like, let's put the main action of your shooty bang bang gun over to your R1 instead of your R2?
Yeah, that was a whole generation.
A whole generation. We're like, Sony, we don't think this works. They're like, nope, we're different. No, we're sticking with it. This is what it is, and you're gonna like it. We're like, I don't think we are though, Sony. I don't think we are.
Plus, if you do get that OG Fat Boy PS3, I believe the 80 gig or 60 gig, you can play PS2 and PS1 games on that bad boy.
And that's why I'm really tempted.
Yeah,
because PS2 is where I got some deep love for.
Yeah,
so
absolutely,
absolutely, my dude, Kyle. Oh my goodness. Here's the news that I really wanted to talk to y'all about. Yeah. Take it away, sir.
Rebecca Smith over at PS Lifestyle writes, Sony, oh my God, Horizon Zero Dawn Complete Edition available to redeem for free on the PlayStation Store starting now. Another play-at-home update to share soon. The next free game to be included in Sony's play-at-home promotion, Horizon Zero Dawn Complete Edition, will be available to download starting today. Horizon Zero Dawn Complete Edition includes the base game and the Frozen Wilds expansion, as well as a variety of costume and item packs. The game will be available to redeem and download for free until 8 p.m. Pacific Time on May 14th. The promotion is due to run through June, with more game and entertainment offers to come. Sony has promised they will have another play-at-home update to share soon.
Ooh,
so, real quick, right off the bat.
Yeah.
Is that entertainment offer the video pass?
Okay.
Is that what that is?
Okay.
It just clicked as I read that.
Huh.
Because I know they did a Funimation partnership, right?
Yeah. I have no idea what Funimation is.
Anime.
None whatsoever. Okay. So, and they also own Crunchyroll? Right?
I believe so.
Okay, let's go for it.
I believe Joe are what you would call weebs. I don't know. We don't know anything about that.
Yeah.
But
no, I think you're 100% on the money, and that gets me a little bit more confident of like, okay, so maybe when we wake up tomorrow, we wipe the sleep from our eyes, we see, hey, this video pass is just an extension of play at home. And I think that brings me a little bit more at ease as I'm talking myself through it. I also can't wait to see how wrong we are about this as well.
I know.
But honestly, they say more's to come.
And more game.
More game.
Through June. So you got to think May and June. So 2 more months. Yeah, I know what I'm thinking. I don't know
what are you thinking.
I'm thinking Ghost of Tsushima is one of them.
No way, Kyle.
100%.
No way. That game has sold 6.5 million copies. They have so much more to sell.
I'm telling you. All these play-at-home things are PS4 and smaller things that are PS4 based. Nothing truly PS5 yet. So what if it's Ghost of Tsushima and you'll be able to get like the PS5 upgrades or whatever with it?
No way.
I don't know.
I don't believe
I'm
that.
swinging for the fences, Joe. I'm
that
going
is
hard.
Crazy. You are out of your mind. I thought you were going to say God of War.
I mean, happy 3-year birthday, by the way, God of War.
Yeah, happy birthday. Congratulations, Corey.
Was real close to putting that game in and playing before we recorded today.
Well, what if that is the game that they're giving, the PlayStation 4 owners? Because I know if you're on PlayStation 5, that's part of the games with the PlayStation Collection. It seems like they've gotten most of the money that they're going to get for people from that game. So why not just say, hey, everybody, Ragnarok's coming. And toss that in there.
Isn't Horizon also on that collection?
No, I don't think so.
It's not. Okay, I take that back. The only reason
you want to know what is? You want to know what is, Kyle?
What?
Game of the Generation, Bloodborne.
That was already given away.
272 days since the launch of Bloodborne, Kyle. That was off the top of my head.
That was already given out, though, right?
Not as a play-at-home game.
No, but like to users to keep forever, kind of thing.
It was one of the PlayStation Plus games a while back.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Again, why not give people a reason to punch a wall, Kyle?
I mean, I guess. I don't know. This
is really awesome because when I posted this on Twitter, a lot of people were like, yeah, I'm going to try this game out. Yeah, this first time I'm going to be giving this a go.
You are in for a treat.
You are in for a treat. So this is awesome. And I think this very much alludes to we're getting Forbidden West this year. I know, the world situation is what it is, but I definitely think we're getting Horizon Forbidden West. I think this is one of the keys. I think the promo with Epic as well, last week is just another clue to it. So yeah, this is awesome. Go get your hands on this. This is fantastic.
Yeah. And please, if you've already played Horizon Zero Dawn, play the Frozen Wilds. That expansion is so good.
Kyle, real talk, I have not played it, and
it is.
I forget what came out around that time that I was like, oh, when I'm done with this, I'll get to that, and it was totally flew past me.
It was winter 2018. No, not 2018. Because it showed up as a surprise thing during E3.
2016.
Yeah,
2016. And that was the year. Oh, Mario Odyssey. But why would that game catch my attention?
I don't know.
I was hyped up on Nintendo at the time. I don't know. Mario Odyssey, just all right.
Yeah. Let me double check.
Odyssey, can I just say something can I get the fanboy hat on for just a second here?
Go ahead, put it on. November 7th, 2017 is when Frozen Wilds came out.
When was that? Sorry?
2017, November 7th.
November 7th. I'm going to say something very crazy. Astro's Playroom over Mario Odyssey. And it's not even close. Not even close. Kyle.
To everyone screaming in your car, remember, he has the fanboy hat on. That is why he said that.
And honestly, if it sold so well, why wouldn't Nintendo kill him? Makes you think. Makes you think, Nintendorks. Kyle, here's a bit of flash news. Read it away, sir.
Yeah, so over on Twitter, Shinobi, there was a full article on UnrealEngine.com all about Returnal. And a lot of info on Returnal because it's coming out in a mere 9 days as of this recording. Yep. Very, very excited. Just a couple of highlights from that article that Shinobi Shinobi602 on Twitter put up. It continues Housemarque's gameplay is king philosophy, easy to pick up but hard to master. Everything handcrafted yet procedurally connected. Time loop adds hidden narrative layers through repetition. You uncover the story through cutscenes, video, audio logs, questioning earlier moments. You decipher the answers. So it seems like you're in control of figuring out the story. It's not going to beat you over the head with it.
Ooh.
Celine being...
You know what game also does that, guy?
Yeah, I know. Celine being Greek American and marooned on the planet Atropos, one of the three sisters of fate in Greek myth, is intentional. Housemarque wants players to question and research everything they see and hear in the game. Design influences from classic dark sci-fi entertainment, Lovecraftian horror, Lynchian soundscapes and stories. Creature design inspired by otherworldly deep sea creatures. Shifts to first person for story moments was put players further in Celine's shoes and provide a closer view of her memories, environments, etc. 4K and SSD driven. Load times are incredibly fast due to roguelike nature. Special emphasis on DualSense. Alt-fire through adaptive triggers, 3D audio. Feel the texture of the game like raindrops on pad. And Housemarque highlights their proprietary Cosmos engine, VFX technology pushed further with Unreal 4. The same tech used in Resogun and Nex Machina. And I believe it's also was confirmed with like subtitles on the video that it is 4K 60 frames with ray tracing.
That is sick.
That's gonna look gorgeous.
They have the first 17 minutes up on IGN. I am trying so hard not to look.
Same.
I am so fucking relieved because this is what IGN had to say. This is just a sentence on Twitter, nothing too crazy. In the opening hours of Returnal PS5, pulsating combat, pulsating combat, mysterious story come together to offer an exciting blend of Hades and the Alien series. The final preview here. Jonathan Dornbush, host of Beyond Podcast, says the preview embargo is up, and I absolutely echo everything from the preview piece so far. I'm really enjoying what Housemarque has done. Friend of the show, Blessing Adiole Jr. says, forgot to mention in the preview, the best part of Returnal is that it's a perfect podcast game. And he says it's a mixture of Kyle, are you sitting down?
I'm so ready.
He says that it's a mixture of what he loves of roguelikes with Control and Metroid.
Oh, Control. All you have to say is Control. I'm good. Metroid, I regrettably, don't have a whole lot of history with. But give me anything that's anywhere close to Control, and I am so in.
I am so relieved. Because this was the one game where, like, it seems like we don't know the final score, and Metacritic doesn't matter. But, like, this one definitely seems like it could have been a hit or a miss. And it seems like, at least in the preview so far, it's hitting. It's hitting. And I texted you something out of the blue like I always do. And I'm going to try to do this once a week where I just text you something random. I think after Returnal, after the dust is settled, Sony's going to acquire Housemarque.
Oh, yeah. Without a doubt.
But by the end of the summer.
Absolutely.
Oh, I thought we were going to have to put some money down.
No, absolutely. I think sooner rather than later. I think before 2021 is up, Housemarque will be a part of PlayStation Studios officially.
Yeah. And I think that's the thing that really excites me is...
Absolutely.
I want that. I want a little romance, okay, before we get to
it's kind of
the buyouts. I want a little,
it's
dance.
It's kind of how I felt after the whole Xbox and Microsoft buying Bethesda. How I personally would rather have it feel organic and have the history on that platform. And Bethesda did have that history there, but they were already super well established, and they're just buying the whole thing, not just one studio. So, like, when PlayStation bought Insomniac, that made so much sense because of the history there. The games are tied intrinsically to PlayStation, and the same goes for Housemarque. Housemarque and PlayStation go hand in hand.
And it's a little bit of romance. You're getting to kind of dance with Housemarque. You're kind of getting to see them grow, watch them grow, have that love affair for that studio. I'm banking on it. I really hope this is the case. Same with Insomniac, where sometimes the Xbox deals like romance. Does that mean I'm doing it from the front? Like it's sometimes this feels like we got money, so I'm just gonna buy this thing. Yeah. You know?
Yeah.
So I'm hoping this is the case. And listen, I'll let my fanboy flags fly here, but I'm getting excited towards the end of this podcast.
Yeah.
I'm getting very excited.
Also, can safely assume now,
yeah,
we're not getting a state of play for Returnal.
No, there is a 3-minute state of play for this game. I think that was like in March, and I really thought it was a joke. I'm like, nah, this is not. I think this is a trailer for the state of play, but no, this is indeed. That's what they call the state of play. Mm-hmm. So,
fantastic.
Yeah. Again, a little bit of romance. Kyle, the last bit of Flash news. This is a doozy. I did not.
Oh, we got two more, actually.
Two more.
Yeah.
This is a doozy. Go for it.
Both of these are written by Jason Finelli over at GameSpot. Okay. The first one is... Oh my god, why am I blanking? How do I usually say Ubisoft's name? Ubisoft. Because there's always that thing in my brain where is it Ubi or Ubi? Ubi or Ubi?
I feel like it's whatever you feel it is.
What, in your heart, right? When you see it?
In your heart.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ubisoft announces new Assassin's Creed projects, but no new games. The Assassin's Creed's universe is receiving a massive expansion as developer Ubisoft has announced multiple new projects in the highly successful franchise, though none of them involve a new game. Instead, these new AC projects will instead span multiple books, podcasts, and graphic novels. Each new project will fall into one of three categories: classics, or stories adapted directly from the games; chronicles, or new stories starring established characters; and originals, which feature brand new characters and settings. The new project formats will include full novels, Chinese comics called manhwas, I'm sorry if I said that wrong, and podcast dramas with voice actors portraying characters in the story. Partners joining with Ubisoft in this new initiative include Asmodee Entertainment through its publishing wing, Aconite Books, Dark Horse, and Viz Media. Some of the specific new projects announced include Assassin's Creed Fragments, a series of young adult novels with the first three books settings as 19th century Japan, 13th century Scotland, and 17th century France, respectively. And Assassin's Creed Blade of Shao Jun, a manga series starring Shao Jun from Assassin's Creed Chronicles China, and a new modern-day protagonist named Lisa.
You threw this on me, and I gasped several times because when you said originals chronicles featuring stories from established characters.
Yeah, man.
I think you thought it. I thought it. It's Cassandra, and having her like in a podcast form, like I could just put the headphones on,
play some Resogun, listen to not Resogun, play some Returnal, like Blessing's Head. It's a perfect podcast listening game. Listen to some Cassandra in my ears, doing badass things. Oh my goodness!
Yeah,
take me away.
She just swoons me. I've never fell so in love in my life.
Is this a cool thing for you?
Yeah, this is really cool, especially the podcast stuff, because I'm not much for like the serial podcasts. But I really do love what like Marvel was doing. There was like a Wolverine podcast that they did, with, one of the main characters of The Hobbit. I think it's like Rob Armitage or something. I butchered that name. And he was Wolverine, and it was really captivating. So like, part of me is like, oh, this is really cool because we're playing with established characters. At the same exact time, I know how much so many people want an Assassin's Creed in Japan, and they could read this as like a slap in the face of like, wow, we've been dying for a Japanese or even like a Chinese, mainline Assassin's Creed game, and you're just going to relegate these characters to in this setting to comics? Come on, Ubisoft. So I get it.
I don't mind it. I really like it. I'm a sucker for a movie adaptation book. I think I've, no joke, read the Kazam book before I watched the movie. Back when I was little, and like I bought the Spider-Man prequel novels before the games. I haven't read them yet. But I'm a big fan of that. Anything that can expand the universe of these games that I love. Mm-hmm. Like I also picked up a Horizon graphic novel. I don't know where that setting before or after the game, but it's cool where it bridges the gap between sequels. It tells you a little bit more beforehand, so you can fall in love with the characters even more. And I think
there's even like right now a God of War comic of like how the first game starts.
Absolutely, yeah.
And so
so the fact that they're doing this with new characters and new settings, as well as established ones, I think is really, really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Last but not leastly, Kyle.
Last one. From Jason Finelli again over at GameSpot. PS5 Share Factory Studio adds HDR support, doubles clip count in new update. The PlayStation blog lays out all the new features coming to Share Factory Studio through this new update, including a highly requested increase in both the amount of clips allowed per project and the number of transitions between them. Both clips and transitions have increased by 50 on the main editing track to 199 respectively. Quote, "We have been blown away by the creativity and how players were using the app ever since," Stuart Platt, senior producer of Sony Interactive Entertainment, said in the blog post. "Since then, we've listened to the PlayStation community's feedback and incorporated ongoing improvements and enhancements to Share Factory over the years to make the editing experience a smooth one for gamers," end quote. The update also allows Share Factory Studio to use HDR screenshots for the first time, while also adding indicators on the editing tracks for HD, 4K, and HDR clips to let the user know what format each clip is using. Videos can also now be created with up to 4K resolution at 60 frames per second and HDR enabled. Music track counts have also been increased to 24, up from 12 in the previous version. Likewise, the number of transitions allowed in track 2 has also increased from 10 to 20.
I saw some of this trailer, and it's things that you can do with Share Factory. Already impressive. Like, it's an already really awesome app. Mm-hmm. And to see that, yeah, you can layer these videos as well, like it being in 4K, like that's HDR clips. That's awesome. Mm-hmm. So this is just such another win for what is already an awesome app to use. Kyle, do you use the Share Factory app at all?
I did a little bit on PS4 with just like a stupid little clip. I think, actually no, I used it to trim down video for when I was doing through a wrestling Facebook group that I was running and still run, kind of wrestling, where we made ourselves in the game and had a tournament. And had like a custom title and everything, and had like feuds or whatnot. And we would play online against each other and then upload the clips to YouTube somewhere, and made a whole like big pay-per-view out of it. So that was the only time I ever used it. And it was super fun then on PS4, and I can't imagine how much easier it is to use now on PS5.
Yeah. I actually use the Share app all the time when I'm showing my little like tweets of my shots on Fortnite or something.
Yeah.
I'm using that clip tool and just seeing how extensive it is, and at the same exact time I'm not breaking from my experience, is absolutely awesome. And I've used the Share Factory app a few times. I'm just like, yeah, this is a great evolution of the Share Factory app. I think it's fantastic. It's a great way to get people into content creation that don't have a $1,000 rig like we do, and have the backing that we do, patreon.com/psroom, to make these things happen. So this is fantastic. There is, though, Kyle, and I want to thank you for jumping in and really putting these notes together. I didn't give you a shout out in the beginning of the show. Thank you so much for doing that.
Admittedly, you were going through some stuff today that affected both of us. So I felt like I needed to start pulling my weight a little bit around here.
But you have failed me, Kyle.
Why?
Because you missed the most important ever. The PlayStation 5 has soared past 6 million units sold at the start of March, marking the PlayStation 5, Kyle, as the fastest selling console of all time. And as at the same exact time, Miles Morales is the number 3 top selling game of 2021 so far, Kyle.
My bad.
Honestly, I forgot this too, but
that
I was
like
scrolling.
What, late last week, I think?
Yes, I think that was as we published. And it wasn't look, sales is whoop-de-doo, Basil, right? Like, it's awesome to see that the PlayStation 5 is still doing really well, despite, Xbox being a really strong competitor out the gate so far. But the factor that I didn't perceive or didn't expect was just how awesome Spider-Man Miles Morales is selling. Like, Miles Morales, in its 5-6 month window has already sold more than The Last of Us Part 2 and Ghost of Tsushima at the same exact time. What are your thoughts on the longevity of Miles Morales, Kyle? Is it just simply because, that's what I'm getting with my PlayStation 5? What do you think is the contributing factor to the sales of Miles? Because it seems like every month it's like still in the top 5.
I think I think that's because more people are getting a PS5. And I think that even though you can play it on your PS4, I think people are waiting to experience that on the best console that they possibly can for the best experience. So why not, when you finally pick up the system, you pick up Miles for it? Like, it's a no-brainer. And I think it has to go along with the fact that it's Spider-Man. I think Spider-Man's the key factor here, and Insomniac just absolutely crushing it with these games. I simply cannot wait for Spider-Man 2. Whenever that happens, like I'm getting that fever dream, or maybe not fever dream's not the right word. Just the itch to go back and replay all these games again, especially from 2018. Like, you got and Horizon from 17.
I don't think you're crazy at all, Kyle, because honestly, I was thinking the same exact thing. Like, taking a look at Miles, it looks stunning, it looks great. Like, Returnal looks great and all, but like, I keep on thinking, what is the next Spider-Man gonna actually look like? Because it already looks fantastic right now. You know? It's wild. It's absolutely wild. Yeah. That said, too, I want to just make note here that PlayStation the top 20 games, Last of Us, Ghost of Tsushima, MLB The Show, Miles Morales, all of them being on the top 20 games sold. I was trying to look at it through MPD real fast, but it kind of goes to show top 20 games of 2020. That's huge numbers. And I think when people ask why isn't PlayStation being competitive with Game Pass, I really do think it shows that they don't have to, right? The games are still selling so extremely well that people are willing to fork over $60-$70 for these games, seemingly no problem. And again, also congrats Ghost of Tsushima, because wow, it's still doing numbers. It's still doing numbers.
So I don't know how old this one is, but according to the 2020 list of top 20 games, Last of Us Part 2 is 6th, Ghost of Tsushima is 7th.
Wow.
Final Fantasy VII Remake is in 10th, also only on PlayStation. Miles at 12th, and MLB The Show at 20 in 18th spot. So there's 5 in the top 20.
That is absolutely nuts. So maybe that is a little bit of clarity. Like, you know, we could kind of wipe away the Vaseline from the lens for a second and kind of get a focus on what is maybe the true picture, is that maybe both these people have really awesome strategies. Both these companies have really awesome strategies that are going to pay dividends for their consumers. Yeah. And only time will tell. So again, congratulations, PS5. There's a little something here as well, Kyle. New releases.
Yeah. So I put this in because it felt like today was a big day to announce like games and dates for some weird reason. So there's 3. Genshin Impact is getting its PS5 version next week on April 28th. For those of you that enjoy that game, get excited, I guess. Again, weeb over here. I don't know. The Great Ace Attorney Chronicles was announced today, which is a collection of 2 formerly Japan-only 3DS exclusive prequel games to the Phoenix Wright series. Is coming to PS4 on July 27th, along with every other place, but I'm just putting the PlayStation consoles now.
Because that's all that matters.
And
now.
Tales of Arise, the big RPG that was shown off, I think, on the Xbox E3 stage, was delayed last year. It's coming out September 10th. And through that delayed, it was only going to come to PS4, but during that time, they had made it work, and we are getting a next-gen for PS5.
Kyle.
Joe.
Stop right there. What the fuck did you just say?
Tales of Arise. Or Arise, if you want to do it. I think in the game it's Arise or Arise. It's a Japanese role-playing game, Joe. It's never normal.
It's Tales of Arise.
I'm gonna be fancy. Let me be fucking fancy for once.
There's no accent, Mark.
Let me be fancy.
Can I be honest? Tale of Arise.
Yes.
And I'm gonna quote Benji Sales here, friend of the show. Looks dope.
Yeah,
and I think we're just a couple of weebs, but he shared an awesome clip of like you fighting this boar and you're doing all some types of crazy teleportation like going on, and you do this cool swipe where just the field of the brush just goes inflamed, and just the particle effects from the flames, from the slashes, just looks fucking awesome, Kyle.
The fact that it's he also has something else. According to Benji, it says September 9th, so maybe the other side I had it wrong. Will be enhanced on PS5 and Xbox Series X and S, 4K graphics mode, and 60 frames per second performance mode, and DualSense support. Again, the fact that they delayed it and during that time made a next-gen version of this game work and be a thing is pretty incredible. So shout out to the Tales developers. That's awesome.
Kyle?
Joe?
Tales of Arise.
Yeah.
It looks fantastic. It sounds fancy. September, though, that's really far away.
It is.
You know what's right here? You know what's right here in front of us? MLB The Show 21. And the conversation around this game in the beginning of this month, oh my God, it's coming to Game Pass.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness gracious. Hold your horses. This is it. This is the end all be all. Everybody tells me this is the greatest sports game ever made, Kyle. That the angels or weeped and the angels cried or whatever. Okay?
The angels creeping behind you.
Exactly. This is supposed to be the end all be all. But Kyle, it's only a 77 on Metacritic.
Yeah.
So now the reviews are out. And you know what? They say the game's okay. It's not the most amazing thing. This game for years have gotten 80s. Sometimes high 80s. The PlayStation Shield's finally over, Kyle. We now see what the PlayStation games, once they get on Xbox, everybody hates them now. Right, Kyle? Right?
No. I'm not with you on this one.
Here's the thing. You're the real fan. Jokes aside.
Yeah.
You're the real fan here. There's nobody that loves MLB The Show like you do. Nobody. Or maybe Matt Piscatella. I think he's the one person.
Maybe. And Ryan McCaffrey. I think we're up there.
Okay. You're on the top 3.
Yes.
How are you enjoying the game? Let's first start with the gameplay.
Yeah.
How's the gameplay of the show? How does it evolve from the previous iterations?
So, to be 100% honest with you, not a whole lot. It is very much what the show has been doing forever. It is very tight gameplay. The pitching is this pretty much the same as I use meter pitching. I cannot do the new pinpoint pitching, which has you use the right stick to go back in your motion and do an arm motion to throw the pitch out, and it tracks the. Oh my God, Kyle, speak. Tracks the motion of the right thumbstick.
Video watchers got it. Audio versions didn't. I was distracting the hell out of you with my stuff.
No, it's fine. It's so like the tracking of the right stick to pitch. I don't like that mode. I tried it out. Not a fan. But the gameplay looks good or feels pretty much the same. More emphasis on exit velocity, how hard you hit the ball. My one big gripe with this, and I don't know if I'm just very rusty. I can't hit for shit on harder difficulties. I can't do it. Even on veteran or like dynamic, which has you as you play, it will level up your difficulty based on your ability. There's a certain point between veteran and all-star, which is basically like medium and like hard, where it's impossible to time the ball. And I had a really awful time. You saw, if you watched me stream it on twitch.tv/PS Trophy Room on pre-release day on Friday the 16th, I was not having fun. I was happy playing the show. I was happy to finally have it in my hands, but it was so hard for me to hit the ball, and that's because there's something off with the timing there. I don't know what it is, but everything else around that, I'm really digging the presentation wise.
Okay,
the modes are filled. There's so much to do here. Home Run Derby, the retro mode, which is fantastic. That's back. March to October, which is really cool, where you could pick a team and play a season with you trying to get them to win the World Series. And it will sim every couple of games depending on how well you're doing. And you get to either play as only one player to receive a boost for that player so they can do well in the season, or you can make trades and call people up and do boosts that way. Like, it's very cool. I've never played that mode before. That's been I think in last year or 2 years ago it was introduced. I really dig that a whole lot. And the cool thing about that is once you finish it, it's not one and done. You can then continue with that team in franchise mode and continue with all the moves you made and the trades and the team you built that won a championship or did not, and continue to build and bring it into franchise mode, which I really, really dig. But the awesome. One thing MLB The Show does this year and in years past, I didn't really notice it too much because I'm very much in Road to the Show, which the improvements there are really cool with like the podcasters talking about you as you're playing.
Yes, that was really cool. And like it's actually like a podcast. Like they're not.
It's a real podcaster that does podcasts about baseball.
They're not like in game either. It's like they're actually recording in studio,
and
which is
along
cool.
with like MLB legends and people that played the game. Jenny Finch also shows up, who's like a one of the best softball players of all time.
I'll pretend like I know who that is.
But yeah, that stuff's cool. Way more grindy than it's ever been because they have the universal ball player thing.
Yeah.
Where you can take that ball player and use it in Diamond Dynasty mode and Road to the Show. You can no longer carry over your saves and continue your career from previous ones, which is a bummer.
I was going to say that there has been some critiques on Road to the Show.
Yes.
From what I've seen, that's where the negativity lies. Do you see why?
Absolutely.
And is that why that negativity's there?
Absolutely. It's that also. It's very hard to level up. It is as grindy as it's ever been. And I'm not a fan. I'll get to it later because Catherine asked a very fun question. Okay. But Road to the Show, it took me a long time to get called up. And it made zero sense because I was killing it down there. But as far as like the next gen features, I didn't really dig too much into Stadium Creator. It was very over my head and very time consuming. I just really wanted to play.
Gotcha.
DualSense, it's there a little bit, not fully. Like when you hit the ball perfectly, it will rumble and give you a sensation. Like that's a no doubter. Either home run, extra base hit, it's whatever. There has been a couple times where I'm playing with or I get a perfect hit and I get that rumble and it's still an out or it's a foul ball. I'm like, that's weird. If it's perfect timing, it shouldn't be a foul ball. So it's still a little wonky here and there. But Diamond Dynasty is the big focus, like it always is. That's their Ultimate Team mode where you buy cards of players and build your team and play against others. And it is all tied with that. You used to be able to use stubs in-game currency to upgrade your Road to the Show player, and that's what I would do because I've grinded through this mode for a decade plus. I don't want to grind anymore. I want to make it to the majors and break records and become a Hall of Famer. You can no longer do that. You have to use stubs to buy cards and equip hats, sleeves, shin guards, special cleats, different bats to get a tribute boost so you can do better. Oh,
that's stupid.
So there are RPG loadouts for like if you want to be a slugger in this game or you want to get on base or you want to be speedy a field. It's a little silly, a little too much. But But Diamond's Dynasty is cool. Everything you do, you earn rewards, you earn packs. It's cool opening up packs and seeing what players you get. I'm really digging playing like single moments from the season already. They're like, hey, this guy just threw a no-hitter last week. Play the game and do the same, and if you do, you'll get a pack of cards, or
that's awesome.
You'll gain a special card of his from that moment. That is the only way you can get that card. And it is really cool if you really dig that. But the servers have been a mess. I think that's because of the Xbox, and everyone's playing on Game Pass.
Boo! Boo!
It's just like they have more players than they ever had before because of the Game Pass.
Yeah.
And I just, when are they going to figure out to really work on the servers? Because Outriders had the same issue, right?
Yeah.
The servers were trash because everyone played because of Game Pass, which is fantastic. Right. But like, you should know it's coming. So why not bolster that up a little bit?
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Okay. I love watching you gush about.
I love the show.
MLB The Show.
Absolutely
man.
love it.
Every year it's a treat.
If it's not nominated this year, by the way, for a game award for best sports game, I'm gonna be very upset. Yes, it's a 77 on Metacritic or whatever, but it's still better than almost all the other sports games.
So K Grim writes in, hope you guys are enjoying the nice weather. I wish I was, K Grim. I wish I was Tim Apple. Looking forward to this week's show. I hope you get it on Apple Podcasts. Tim Apple. My question would be about MLB The Show. After playing this year's after playing this year's game on PS5, would you say that they made a big jump from PS4 to PS5 with visuals and gameplay? The downloading rosters for franchise is becoming a pain because of the patch. The patch has not yet fixed that issue. For gamers like myself with MLB The Show, I tend to love whatever they give me each year because of how much I love baseball. But would you consider this a big improvement or somewhat of a failure for MLB The Show 2021?
So, like I said, as far as gameplay wise, it's not a huge upgrade.
Okay.
But visuals, I like it.
Okay.
I love the lighting. The lighting is where you'll see it.
Yeah.
And there's really cool details of, depending on where you play, like you'll see birds flying over center field, like way in the distance. Like little tiny things that are cool that really bring the whole.
Yeah, you freaked out because you saw a plane fly over.
Oh my god, the plane flying over Citi Field where the Mets play, that's a thing that happens because it's right by LaGuardia and wait, LaGuardia or JFK? It's one of those two.
One of the two, yeah.
Whatever. But it's cool that it's in there, and as it passes, you also hear the plane flying overhead, so it's not just like a plastic plane flying overhead. So the visuals could be a little bit better, especially with the player models. They do just look a little shinier than they were. They're not like the NBA 2K player models, which are fantastic. Right. But hopefully, I think that also has to do with it's a first year on a new gen. I think they're still kind of playing around with that. It is an annualized game. Every year they have to pump one out. Yeah. So by 2 years' time, it'll be fantastic.
Original thought by me and nobody else that I'm taking for the purpose of this show. A lot of people don't understand. I think this is an annualized game that has been worked on, I think, primarily since the pandemic.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so to see this game come out at all is a shock. But at the same exact time, that doesn't take away from the misgivings or what if you don't think this looks as great or doesn't hold up as. Do you think, just like the little bit of a benefit of doubt, or at least knowledge walking in, do you really think, though, this is going to be worth your Game Pass admission or your $60 right now? Or do you think people can hold off till next year?
Ooh. I think if you're jonesing for a baseball game, it is 100% worth it. There are some people that have asked me, like, I don't play baseball games. I'm not a baseball fan. Should I try it? And to that point, I would say probably no. I would watch people stream it and see if it's your kind of thing, just because of how real life sim it really gets. Like I mentioned with like the timing of hitting. That can be extremely frustrating if you don't play a baseball game and you're not hitting the ball, you're just striking out every time. But there are ways that are not like super user friendly, but you can go in the menus and make it very arcadey. You just won't be earning something that's real stupid. I understand why they did it, but if you move the sliders to do like, you just want to hit bombs and just hit for crazy average, whatever. You can move the sliders up for contact and power all the way up high, but it will disable XP progress. So you won't be able to earn XP and get those packs for Diamond Dynasty and get those cards or stubs or whatever. So it's a little bit of a bummer there. You have to play on the default settings to earn XP in that regards. So that sucks.
Do you get bonuses if you like make it harder for yourself? Like
you do earn better XP if it's on harder difficulties, yes.
All right. Hidden Doors asked this question about MLB The Show. This question is for Kyle. Hi, my darling.
Hello.
Why the hell did you beat MLB The Show so quickly? I get you like the game a lot and want to consume all the content, but wouldn't you want to savor it a little longer? Now that you've earned the glorious platinum, is there anything else for you to do, or does it earn a permanent spot on your shelf?
Fantastic question. Yes, I am a madman. And I was not expecting to go super hard for the platinum. Okay. I noticed that the trophy list was very easy to do. So if you are a person that loves the show and wants to go for the platinum, it is 100% doable. There are, I think, 4 or 5 trophies that if you finagle the rosters and play the best MLB team versus the worst minor league team in an exhibition game and use those sliders, you can get 4 or 5 of them in one game. So you can do it that way. You can get the home run. I think you have to hit a total of 100 home runs. You can do that in one home run derby if you want to with 8 people. The only grindy ones are Road to the Show, which is getting called up to the major leagues, which took me 5 seasons, Joe. 5 seasons. I did not play every game during those 5 seasons. I simmed a lot of it because I was super frustrated. But the reason I wasn't getting called up because there was a Major League Baseball player above me that was better than me, and they blocked me from being called up. Not even like on the bench or whatever. So then they traded me to a team where okay, great. Maybe I'll make it there. I'm not on the Mets. That sucks. Guess what? Blocked there too. And then I got traded again. And then this team's like, you know what? You're blocked. Would you like to change your position? Sure. I'll become a first baseman. What do? They trade for a better first baseman in the major league, so I'm blocked again.
Wow.
Get released. Wow. Re-sign with the Mets as a first baseman now, not even the position I want to play. And then finally, after 2 more seasons, I get called up. So that kind of stuff sucked. That's the worst trophy in this, if you're not into the grindy things. But I enjoy MLB The Show so much, and I saw that there was only one person with the platinum on Sunday night. I'm like, I am real close. Let me really just grind for it. And because of that Road to the Show bullshit, I am now only the 4th person in the world to get the platinum.
Damn,
I could have been
Kyle. 2. You could have been 2.
Could have been 2. But I'm still going to be playing it. I don't touch Diamond Dynasty really ever, but because of the rewards and the cool looking cards design, I'm really playing those a lot the last couple of days, and I will eventually, once my anger and rage simmers down from Road to the Show, I will go back and continue my career in that. I play MLB The Show throughout the year.
Ooh.
Like it's my Fortnite to you.
Okay.
This is what this game is for me.
No, it's awesome. And do you at the end of the day, do you see why the Metacritic is where it is? Are
Absolutely.
You upset? Do you want to burn Metacritic to the ground?
Absolutely not. I get where the score is at.
Honestly, I do.
I understand. Burn it down, Joe. Go ahead.
I want to just listen. I want to break the wheel. All right. I'm tired. Every time a new game comes out, we have this talk of Metacritic.
Yes.
And like somehow it matters. Even Sony cares about it. Like, enough with it. I just want to play and enjoy my games. And honestly, I like these conversations that we have. Because, like, I honestly get, like, you know, baseball isn't for me, but, like, seeing your love, your passion for it, your knowledge for it, that's why I tune in. So, that said, we have some questions, and I want to save some of them for the post-show over at patreon.com/PS Trophy Room. I got one that I wanna get over here. So welcome to the Sony Pony Express again.
Yeehaw!
Yeehaw! You can send your questions over to PS Trophy Room on Twitter or the Trophy Room Discord server. This week was fantastic, Kyle. So many questions, yet so little time. This one, though, I feel attacked, Griffin West.
Yes!
He writes,
I took this from Twitter because I knew I had to get on the show.
Mr. Badbit, why must you spend approximately 20% of every episode talking about Bloodborne 2 when you haven't played the Old Hunters DLC? Are you telling me the guy who ever talks about Bloodborne hasn't actually finished Bloodborne? You must answer for your crimes. First off, that's such a gotcha question. I'm being blackmailed by Sony. That's what's going on. Okay, I can't give in the deets.
Griffin, your money's in your PayPal account.
Honest to goodness, when Old Hunters came out, it's the same like what we talked about Horizon just a little bit ago.
Yeah.
Came in during the holiday release, and it just got lost on me. And I think I remembered, I was like, oh, I should play it when I was planning Bloodborne. But I, honest to God, I had no idea how to get to that DLC or what I needed to do. So once you beat Bloodborne...
Sounds like a design flaw in the game, if you ask me.
You shut your beautiful fucking mouth. I beat that game 3 times. I was just like, I'm going to step away and wait for the PS5 version. And walk in and I'll you know, I'll do it when I get that 60 FPS. So you tell me why PlayStation makes such an immaculate game. Such a beautiful game. It doesn't even give us... puts it on the PlayStation Plus collection, Griffin. And then just says, you know what? 60 FPS, who really needs it? You tell me. Because honestly, I've had enough.
Thank you, Griffin.
Thank you so much, Griffin. Let's get one more in there. One more. Okay. This one comes from TPR. Yo, Kyle, Joe, in spirit of the legacy content from PS3 and Vita store reversal, what are your guys' best recommendations on PS2 classics? I'm going to go back to the console's library for an interim before I get a PlayStation 5 for realsies. I have Ico. I played SOTC
Shadow of the Colossus.
Thank you. On PS4. The real fan over here. The original Ratchet trilogy. The original Jack trilogy.
Hell yeah.
Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3. The original Sly games on my list. I'm sure I'm missing quite a few must-plays. Any idea? And for the record, I have everything I just listed. I haven't played before. PS3 was my first PlayStation, so I'm completely in the dark when it comes to the PS2 library.
Oh boy.
Griffin, here's the thing. I'm kind of right there with you. I love the PS2. The PS2 was the system where my friends came over and we're playing.
Yeah.
So I remember, I think, one of the Call of Duties playing on PS2, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe that was Big Red 1. But PlayStation 2 was a weird one because I had your Ratchets, I had your Jack and Daxters, I had, my brother had Metal Gear Solid, but I didn't get to be crazy. Like, one of the series that I'm desperate to go back to is the original Sly games.
Hell
like,
yeah.
I know there's so much love there that I really want to try those games out, and I am desperate for Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3, like, either remake, remaster, whatever have you. I really want to play those games and fall in love with them, because I remember playing Snake Eater on PS2 going, what the fuck is going on? And I can't wait to be a 30-year-old male playing that game and going, what the fuck is going on? So Kyle, what are your best recommendations? This is your home turf.
I will say, also for Vita owners, you can play the Sly Cooper games on Vita. There's a collection out there.
But PS3, Sly 3 is download only, and that download code is Dunzo's, I think.
Oh.
But hey, the store isn't closed anymore, so...
Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, PS2...
I'm going to see if it's an easy plat as well. Let me see if it's if there's actually platinums.
PS2 is some of my favorite memories. That's when I really... PS1, yeah, I got a lot of really cool games, and I had a lot of great experiences with that, but PS2, I really dove in and bought like as much as I possibly can. Not all of them are great. I will firmly admit, but some that I think are overlooked. Dark Cloud. Did not play 2, but I have it on my PlayStation. Dark Cloud's fantastic. If you like a good dungeon crawler, where you're going through dungeons and clearing them out, you're saving the townspeople, and then when you come out of the dungeons, you have to listen to the townspeople that you saved and position their housing and stuff just in the right way to earn special items. So it is kind of like it's not Animal Crossing. Maybe it is. What's the other, like...
Harvest Moon?
Maybe? Where you have to put everyone's houses and stores in the exact right spot to get 100% happiness rating kind of thing.
Okay. Maybe that is Harvest Moon.
Yeah.
All those, like, those type of sim games, I ain't down for it, but continue.
Yeah. Let's see. Other PS2. I mean, you can play this also on your Vita and on PS4, but Final Fantasy X is one of my favorites. Shout out to Squaresoft's, back when they were Squaresoft still. Shout out to the Bouncer. Do you remember the Bouncer? The hype over that game and it being not great, but it's fun to look back on.
I remember, so the reason why I never even touched the Bouncer was my best friend Connor at the time, his brother Ryan, who was a major dick, would not shut up about Bouncer and got into fights with us because every time we wanted to use the PS2, he's like, no, I'm going to play the Bouncer. And they'd get into fights, man. And they were ugly. It was ugly fights. And I was just like, I'm a guest in your home.
I remember being blown away over the graphics in this game. And now looking up screenshots, I'm like, man, we've come a long way. We've come a long way. The Bouncer, just for fun, because I believe that was like a launch game, or it's one of the... Freedom Fighters is a cool game. Third-person shooter kind of game where you are in, I believe, New York City, taking on a... what's the word I'm looking for? Invading country. Kind of like a... oh my god. Red Dawn?
Yeah, Red Dawn, home front for the...
Shadow Hearts Covenant is another great RPG.
Can I say something that, like, legitimately it gets overlooked because it was supposed to be the Halo killer and it wasn't? The original Killzone is such a fun game.
It's too dark for my... It's like... I don't like the...
Sure. But I loved, like, the local multiplayer in that. Again, me and my friend Connor, my friend Ruben, and Dave would come over and we would just fight each other and get into all sorts of fights over Killzone. So I have a lot of fun,
my God,
fun memories, but really memorable.
I can't believe I forgot about these, Joe. I just looked up a list real quick because I know I'm forgetting some big heavy hitters. Grand Theft Auto 3 and Vice City and San Andreas. Resident Evil 4, which we'll be talking about. That was on PS2 at some point.
That's true.
God of War 1 and 2. 2 was the last like major PS2 game before PS3.
Yep.
You have Rockstar's Bully, which is one of my favorite Rockstar games. Have you ever played Bully?
No.
I believe that's a PS2 classic on PSN that you can play on your PS4 and whatnot.
There's nothing but love I hear about Bully. Again, this is pre-teen Joe we're talking about here.
Yeah.
You know? I got zits and acne.
The Devil May Cry games on PS2. Again,
Devil
you
May
have
Sob.
the collection. The Prince of Persia games trilogy on PS2 are classics.
Again, games I always wanted. My mom was like, "Nuh-uh, get a job, hippie."
Dragon Quest VIII, one of the best RPGs ever made. Kingdom Hearts, if you want to play it on PS2.
Oh my god, how can I forget? What you want. Say what you want about Kingdom Hearts. That soundtrack slapped.
Oh, yeah.
Kingdom Hearts 2, when you're fighting like the 50 Heartless, but like it looks like an army, you're like, oh my god, how am I getting over this hump? That was awesome. Continue.
Beyond Good and Evil.
Right.
The SXX trilogy. The good ones. Tricky 3.
Yep.
The original. You have Time Splitters. Oh my god, Time Splitters.
This is why the road to greatness. Another last plug for Patreon.
Guitar Hero, if you can find. A PS2?
Guitar Hero 2 is the best. Guitar Hero 2
3.
is the... not even close, but All That Remains is also on Guitar Hero 3.
Hell yeah.
But Guitar Hero 2, I do think had 6 from All That Remains and some really good Avenged songs as well on there. And I think they had... Did they have Disturb? Ooh,
maybe.
Okay. But yeah, no. Guitar Hero 2.
Just a couple more that I'm seeing that I need to shout out.
Right, go
Burnout. The Burnout racing games are the best. And they are best on the PS2 era. Those games are awesome.
Another Connor memory right there for sure. I'm a guest in your home. Why are we yelling about Burnout?
One more. Like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4.
Why'd you just shrug at Tony Hawk Pro Skater?
Because I prefer 1 and 2 over those. Psychonauts as a PS2 version.
I have nothing
I don't know if
but
SOCOM works anymore, but SOCOM on PS2 were great.
Dude, the SOCOM on PSP, fantastic.
Yeah, and shout out to Soul Calibur 2. One of the best fighting games ever.
Did the PS2 version have Yoda?
I believe the PS2 version had Yoda and Hiachi on Sony and Link on Xbox.
No. Link is Nintendo's
Nintendo, yeah. Duh.
And then
Yoda's Xbox.
Spawn was on Xbox because they're just like, who the fuck gives a shit about the original Xbox, you know?
Yeah.
And then, little Joe cared.
Yeah, but
Spawn was too scary.
PS2 has a wealth of games. You can't go wrong. Remember the shooter Black?
Yes.
Was supposed to tout the best sounds and destruction of guns in a game, and not really loving it when I played it.
Me loving it because I was a dumb kid and I was shooting stuff.
Yeah.
Also, the Punisher game, I believe, as well, was on PS2. This was dope.
Yeah.
That said, Kyle, that's all we got for the trophy room this week. And can I just say, this is the best episode to maybe come out on an Apple podcast. Only time will tell. Right?
Agreed, yeah. Apple, you want this one on your service.
Yeah, Tim Apple, just get over our grudge for a second.
Forget your new Apple TV remote.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, what's going to sell phones is this episode right here.
This episode right here.
Get on
okay?
it.
Yeah. I was about to buy an iPad yesterday. An iPad, Tim Apple. Thank God I held my cash because you know what? What you're doing to the Apple App Store, whatever, the Apple Podcast Store, you should be ashamed.
To make up for it, we're hosting the next Apple Keystone event.
I think that's a bad idea for us, but yes. What are we gonna show off? Have you seen those Keystone or whatever events?
No.
Keynote addresses?
No.
You're pretty much following this dot around the Apple campus, which is a beautiful design campus. And at the same exact time, you just smell how pompous and full of shit all these how excited are you about this new iPad? How really excited are you about this?
Yeah.
How much faster really is it?
How many more pixels can you get in that camera?
Do we really need a 5-minute thing about a purple iPhone that looks really cool? Maybe. Do we really need an advertisement for literally I lost my keys, it's a Find My little widget? Do I lose my keys and do I need one? Yes. Is it only $30? Yes. Am I going to probably get one? Yeah. That's not the point. Get us on Apple Podcasts. And I'll continue to buy your stuff. Ted Lasso's coming out. I can't wait. That's been the Trophy Room, a PlayStation podcast. Kyle, take it away. Is there anything you'd like to spotlight, sir?
Sure. I'll spotlight myself, Mr. KSEP on Twitter and on PSN. You can follow all of my coverings of indie games and our podcasts that we do about indie games and just bullshitting with friends over at 61indie.com, 61indie on Twitter, twitch.tv/61indie, and youtube.com/61indie. I believe last week I talked about, or 2 weeks ago, I talked about the interview we had with Jed Shepard about his new horror game, Ghost. This past week on our YouTube channel, we put up a conversation with Kyle Seeley, developer of the Emily's Away series for Emily's Away 3 that just came out, which is a nostalgia game about a high school romance all through an old school Facebook just from the beginning. And he created his own YouTube page with classic clips. It is so good. So go check out that interview with Kyle and all the indie stuff over there, because we got a big IndieCast episode coming up this weekend.
Whoop, whoop. Whoop, whoop. Go check that over there. You can check out this show on podcast services, the likes of Spotify, Google Podcasts, TuneIn, Amazon Music, Stitcher, iHeartRadio. That was a pregnant pause. Maybe iTunes.
Your grandmama's hand-cranked radio.
Maybe Apple Podcasts.
Walkmans.
Maybe on your iPhone.
Maybe.
But just maybe. And when we get it up and running back on Apple Podcasts, please rate us 5 stars as well. It really does help us out. It really does help grow this show. It gets people's eyes to the channel, gets us people viewing the content. So please, it really does help us out. Support us on Patreon financially. It really does help us. It really does keep the lights on. And with all that said, with all that out of the way, you can find this show over at PS Trophy Room on Twitter, at Mr. Badbit for myself on Twitter. Keep your wits about you. Keep hunting. And keep playing PlayStation.
Love you. Be safe. Black Lives Matter.